Hey YouTube, my name is Heather and I love anti-MLM content here on YouTube. Today I'm super excited for us to watch the second half of the Road to Elite program 2023 training. Now, if you haven't watched my last video on this, I would pause this video and watch that first because there's a lot of information in the Road to Elite program and it's pretty complicated, and that first video gives you a good amount of context. Before we begin, I wanted us to have a refresh on what the elite points are and what the requirements for each of these Road to Elite milestones include. So first, team builder, you have to be diamond or above with 25 leadership points. Team leader, 1-star or above with 50. Premier leader, 2-star or above with 75 leadership points. And elite leader, you are a 5-star diamond or above with 105 leadership points. And the way you earn your leadership points in Beachbody, the first one is acquisition personal volume. Now, this is just copied from the website. It is earn 1 leadership point for every 500 personal volume points that are produced by either your personally sponsored coaches who enroll in 2022 or your preferred customers or customers who place their first order in 2022. Next, you can earn new PS with 1 SC point, which means any personally sponsored coach that earns their first Success Club point in the month they enrolled or the month after in 2022. And the last category is PS Success Club, which means when each PS coach enrolled in 2021 or 2022 qualifies for Success Club 5 or 10. And if the sponsor also hit Success Club 5 in the same month, the points double for the sponsor coach that month. And for each of these 3 categories, you get 1 point unless they double because you hit Success Club 5 in the same month that one of your personally sponsored coaches also hits Success Club 5. So we're going to learn that you have rank requirements and you also have leadership point requirements. So I'm excited to get started, and please let me know what you think about this topic down below.
Okay, so for the different categories, we've listed how many leadership points are required. For team builder, between all 3 categories or 1, it doesn't matter. You can earn all 25 in 1 point, 1 category, but you need to earn at least 25 leadership points. As I mentioned, this can come from a mixture of all 3 categories. It can come from just 2 of the categories or just 1 category. It does not matter. You need just at least 25 leadership points. To become a team leader, now this is in conjunction with the rank. So for team builder, you have to be a diamond and you have to have at least 25 points. So hopefully you see how that works. For team leader, you have to have at least 50 points between any of the categories. For premier,
wouldn't it be sad if you met all the requirements for team leader, you're 1-star diamond or above, and you met the other requirements, but then say you had 49 leadership points instead of 50, and you're literally just 1 point off, but you missed out on that level of recognition? I feel like I'd be sad about that. What do you think?
It's 75 points. Now you'll note that point number 2, let's read that at the bottom. Leadership points for Premier and Elite must be balanced between all of the categories. What we're saying here is we want you guys to, there's a balance. We want you to earn, there's minimums and maximums for each of the categories. For Premier and Elite, you cannot earn all of 75 points in 1 category. There's a cap for each one. We want you to spread between all the different categories. Now,
Why? That's annoying. I've seen coaches who are 7-star diamond, but they did not meet all the requirements for elite. So they were technically just a premier coach. And there's a lot of different reasons why that could happen. But let's just look at the leadership point section. What if you're like 1 or 2 off of the balanced point requirements and you miss out on elite because of that, because of such a tiny technicality? And I could imagine a lot of coaches are working towards elite and think that they're meeting all the requirements. And then at the last second, they realize that their points aren't balanced in the exact correct way. And they just miss out on the elite qualification and the elite recognition. What do you think?
That's same for Premier, so 75 points. And for Elite, you have to have at least 105 points spread between all of the categories that we have mentioned before. So that's kind of what we're explaining here. You cannot earn, you have to get the minimums in each, and you cannot get any more than the maximums in each. But balanced between all of them, you can earn at least 105 points. Okay. So there's that. Now, the third category is your new personally sponsored coach leaders. Why this matters. Developing new coach leadership ranks on your team strengthens the team, bolsters volume, and infuses excitement into everyone on the team.
That's inaccurate. And so rank matters because that's the only way you can make money in Beachbody. And that's the only way, as you said, you're going to get any volume at all, because the vast majority of your volume is going to come from your coaches who are purchasing their personal volume requirements and have Shakeology on home direct every single month. And there's no way to get high amounts of volume without a huge team underneath you.
While there are many ways that leadership is developed and demonstrated, one of the best ways is celebrated consistently across all teams and in the company is through rank achieve advancements. So Road to Elite on the
And you can only have your rank advancements if you recruit a shit ton of people. And there's the only way for you to make a good amount of money in Beachbody is if you're at least an elite coach. Although I wonder how much money elite coaches actually make, because I've seen 5-star elite coaches who are still working full time in their 9-to-5 job. And so I wonder, you're at the tippy top of the whole company and you still don't make enough money in Beachbody in order to quit your job. So I wonder how much money coaches are actually making if they're not like 12, 13, 14-star diamond. What do you think?
On the right-hand side, for a coach's Road to Elite qualification, there is a requirement to have personally sponsored coaches on your team hit a specified rank for the first time in 2019. This simply shows that you can duplicate what you've achieved. That's all we're looking for.
So that's a whole ass other requirement. Not only do you have to have a certain number of leadership points, and if you're gunning for Premier Elite, they need to be balanced throughout all the categories. You need to get a certain rank, but now your PS coaches need to hit a certain rank for the first time and this says 2019, but for Elite 2023, your coaches have to hit certain ranks for the first time in 2022. So this year. If you've been around for a while, you probably watched the How to Survive Your Diamond Qual video. And in that video, we learned that just because you hit a rank in Beachbody does not mean that you're that rank forever. You have to keep all of the requirements in place for a 6-week period in order to be considered your lifetime rank. And then if you happen to drop, you have a different paid as rank, but at least diamond is your lifetime rank. And then your upline, say they were 9-star diamond before, their lifetime rank is 10-star diamond, even though you dropped. And so that's why you have to reach it for the first time, and you have to hold it for 6 consecutive weeks in 2022, because that's the normal qualification period, or 1 bonus week in December. I didn't know that was a thing. If anyone knows more about that bonus week thing, please let me know down below. I wonder if you happen to hit diamond for the first time in December, do you only need to hold it for 1 week instead of the 6 weeks? I don't really understand why that exists, but if you know, please tell me.
These coaches enrolled does not matter. It can be any personally sponsored coach, but they do need to reach the rank for the first time and hold it for 6 consecutive weeks or 1 week in December. Let me show you.
That's another complication. So why does it have to be the first time? What if someone hit their rank for the first time at the very end of 2021, like very end, like the second last day, but then that doesn't count towards your elite qualification because it wasn't the first time in 2022. So that's a whole other layer of complexity. What do you think about all of this stuff? I think this is extremely complicated. There's a lot of balls to be kept in the air at once. And I feel like a lot of people would think that they're about to reach one of these qualifications, and then they barely miss it because they didn't notice some fine print somewhere. What do you think? If you've been in Beachbody and you have experience in the Road to Elite program and trying to hit any of these milestones, let us know your experiences down below.
What I mean. So for Team Builder, you need to help at least one person who's personally sponsored achieve Emerald. Now, you'll notice here in the 3 part, these do not have to be newly enrolled coaches, but they do need to hold it for 6 consecutive weeks or 1 week in December. So if you can help one person who's personally
at least they don't have to be new coaches in 2022, but the fact that it's for the first time, they have to hit it for the first time in 2022, I think makes it needlessly complicated. What do you think?
sponsored achieve the rank of Emerald and they hold it for 6 consecutive weeks in 2019, you can check this box off. Or if they hold it at least just 1 week in December, you can check this box off. For a team leader, you need to help 2 people who are personally sponsored coaches achieve the rank of Emerald for the first time, or 1 new personally sponsored Diamond. And they need to hold that for 6 consecutive weeks or 1 week in December. For a premier leader, you need to help 1 personally sponsored coach achieve Diamond for the first time in 2019, hold it for 6 consecutive weeks or 1 week in December. And for an elite leader, you need to help at least 2 people in your personally sponsored organization achieve the rank of Diamond for the first.
So I just wanted to pause quickly to talk about, again, how needlessly complicated this is. Say you're pushing for elite, right? And you got the 105 points that are balanced properly between all 3 categories. You're at least a 5-star diamond. And then say you are working with 2 people to get them to diamond. 1 hits on time, 1 hits like 2 days late, and then you barely miss out of your elite leader qualification because of that. I think that could breed really toxic environments where an upline would unknowingly or knowingly put a significant amount of pressure on the people who they think could go diamond in that year, because without 2 people going diamond, someone cannot be elite. So someone can't just produce 1 new diamond a year and just maintain their 5-star rank or above. They need to make sure 2 new people are hitting diamond and holding it for at least 6 weeks or 1 bonus week in December in order to meet their qualification. What do you think about that? Do you think it could breed a lot of pressure within these teams and a lot of not necessarily manipulation, but strong encouragement for these people who are about to go diamond to push and never take breaks and just constantly work so their upline coach can hit elite? What do you think?
Time in 2019, 6 consecutive weeks during the year, or first 1 week in December. So as this is simply showing us that you can duplicate what you've achieved. This is leadership, guys. This is the road to elite, and there's your leadership milestones. So there's that category. The last one is weak leg volume. This is something we're introducing to.
We know a lot about weak leg volume already, so I might not have that much to add because we've talked about it a lot, but we're just going to listen and learn.
The road to elite. Now, this should not be new to you because we've introduced this with the leadership ladder concept, but I'll go over it anyways. On the left-hand side, why weak leg volume matters. Growing the team volume, which we call TV, from the weak leg in your business has a direct impact on the amount of money you earn from the team cycle bonus once you've achieved Emerald or higher rank.
I feel like we all know that if someone's gunning for one of these qualifications, they're bound to know how important weak leg volume is and how you have to focus on building both legs, because if your upline places people underneath you and helps you build your strong leg, you still need to have people on the other leg producing volume. And we heard from Doug Moss, VP of Coach Development, that you need to understand how many coaches you need to recruit in order to build your weak leg volume. And to that, I ask, hey, Doug, why can't you build your volume with just customers? I think it's because this is a pyramid scheme. What do you think?
Understanding how team volume works, especially the concept of weak leg volume, and I'll go over that in just a minute, is important to maximize the income potential of your business. Now, here's how it applies to Road to Elite. For a coach's Road to Elite qualification, there's a weak leg volume requirement. This requirement takes the highest level of weak leg volume during any consecutive 5-week period in 2019 and uses it for qualification. Don't stress out. Let me go over this for you. But let me quickly explain how weak leg volume is generated. We call this the ABCs. The first one column being the binary structure. Hopefully you understand that you as a coach have 2 legs in your business. You have your left leg and you have your right leg. As you sign people up and bring them into your organization, you can put them either on your left leg or your right leg, depending on what you're trying to achieve. And one other thing that people can do, if you have an upline coach who signs up somebody, they can also place people in your organization.
So that makes sense, but I wonder how far up the pyramid does this go? So say I am the blue circle that says you, and I know that my coach, it's a binary structure, so everyone is placed underneath each other. It's not wide, it's long. And so I know that my coach is going to be placing people underneath me. But how far up does that go? Does my coach's coach place people underneath me, and then my coach's coaches, et cetera, all the way up the pyramid? I just wonder how the total Beachbody pyramid actually looks, and how, so if the person at the very top of the pyramid, at the top, gets a new coach, where does that go? Does it go underneath their personally sponsored coach, like the person directly under them, or does it go to the very bottom of the whole structure of Beachbody? I don't know. That's just something I was thinking about. So when you have a new coach, it looks like you can just do left and right leg, but then I wonder if you can also decide which legs of your coaches you want to place these new people under. So you could do your left leg or your right leg, or you could do like the inside of your coaches, your PS coach's right leg, the outside of their right leg, or the outside of their left leg or inside. And so there's a lot of different choices. I think you could make those choices. So you technically could have 8 spots to put a new coach. And I think this coach who posted this video was saying that that's more of advanced coach placement methods. And he actually told his coaches not to be that detailed and not try to make those kinds of decisions, and just do left or right, and not look at the 8 different options that you could do. What do you think about that?
And help you with your left leg or your right leg volume. This is important because if people randomly show up in your organization, you're like, who are these people? Oh, okay, they were signed up by my upline, but they were placed below me. This helps.
Please note that that's technically not stacking, because that's just how the structure is made. And so because if I'm you, the blue circle, and then I put my coach underneath my personally sponsored coach at the top, like I'm pretty sure that's just how the business structure is laid out for Beachbody. But in other cases, when it's not a binary structure, you might see people stacking. So in 1.8, there was a lot of accusations about people would stack people under certain market partners, the ones that they wanted to build their volume for, and the ones that they needed to advance so that they could advance themselves. But based on my understanding, that's like, this is actually allowed in Beachbody just because it's how this structure is laid out.
Build not only your team, but their team. Thus, the compensation plan is maximized this way. That's the first one. Now, team volume is very important. So as you have your left leg and right leg, people purchase product. People are on an auto ship program where they can every month receive, Shakeology, Performance Line products, whatever it may be. Now you remember, Shakeology has 90 team volume. Challenge packs have 45 to 138 team volume, and Energize has 30 team volume. Now this is not.
So in this example, he's showing us how you could accrue volume on your left and your right legs. Please remember that when you're a Beachbody coach, you're going to be strongly encouraged to have Shakeology on home direct, so shipped directly to your home, in order to be qualified for Success Club, because we've learned that for a coach to be elite or premier, they need to have coaches hitting Success Club. And you can tell that the majority, in this example, the majority of the volume is coming from those Shakeology purchases. And notice he didn't say people will sell products and purchase. He just said people will purchase products. I said this 1,000 times on this channel. Every anti-MLM video has said this. The vast majority of your volume comes from the purchases of coaches themselves, and it's very rare that you actually have customers making up the majority of your volume. Let's just think if you happen to have like 10,000 people in your downline and they're all just doing 90 PV on home direct. I can't do the math right now, but that is a lot of volume. And if you have all of your coaches just purchasing the Shakeology every single month, you're going to cycle a lot. What do you think?
It's not personal volume. Personal volume is what you purchase yourself. But this is what
it also could be what you sell, can it? That's funny.
The team, people who you've helped, people below in your organization, the stuff that they've purchased. We call that team volume. Okay? And as people purchase, the numbers add up. And in just this example, we're going to say that on your right side, between everybody on your right leg, the team volume came to 1,600 TV. And on your left leg, you added up all the volume, it came to 1,000 TV. Okay? So what we're saying is, on your right side, you have more volume than your left side. So in this case, the left side is your weak leg. That's where the weak leg comes from. It's the one that has less volume in it. Now, this can switch from week to week, from month to month. We're not saying that your left leg is permanently your weak leg. It's whatever side has the least amount of volume that week. Okay? So
that's good to know, because for a while I thought that it had to be the same leg, and then if the leg that's usually your strong leg happens to have less volume, then you wouldn't qualify for Success Club and you wouldn't be able to cycle. So that's good to know. Thank you for explaining that. So what do you think about this part so far? As we know, when you want to cycle, it's all based on the points that are attributed to the products, and majority of it is from your coaches purchasing the products themselves. So what do you think?
Team cycle bonus. This is kind of why.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. So it's interesting that, yes, it can switch from month to month, and it doesn't have to, your weak leg does not have to stay your weak leg forever. If you've been in Beachbody before and you're actually able to accrue some volume, did your weak leg stay your weak leg, or did it switch back and forth? I feel like it would be tricky to plan for like where you want to put your coaches if you didn't have an obvious strong or weak leg. Let me know your experiences with that down below. And if your legs did switch back and forth from weak to strong, did it make it harder to decide where to place your coaches?
Why team volume matters. Once you are at the rank of Emerald or above, in rank, you're eligible to earn the team cycle bonus. The team cycle bonus is paid on the team volume produced by your team between your left leg and right leg. The team bonus is calculated by taking 100 points from your weak leg, whatever side has the less volume, and 200 from the side that has more volume. Now, every time that we can subtract 100 points and 200 points from your right leg, or excuse me, your weak leg and strong leg respectively, that's one cycle, and will pay out depending on your rank. This is not a
So how do you think you get a big cycle? If you only have a couple coaches underneath you and like 2 customers, and you're probably not going to cycle that much on your own. And if you happen to have been recruited by a coach who actually is active and is recruiting people, and therefore people are showing up underneath your left or your right leg, you will probably have some assistance in building one of your legs, but then you still have to have a significant amount of volume on the other leg in order to cycle. So my theory is, not really theory, it's just fact, that you have to have a big downline in order to make a significant amount of money on your cycle. You need to have lots and lots of coaches who are purchasing the 90 PV at least. And then if they're higher up in rank, then they have to purchase more or sell more personal volume points every single week. If I can remember, not every single week, sorry, every single month. If I remember correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong, Diamond is 100 personal volume, and then 2-star and above, I think, is 200, but correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember. I wasn't planning on saying that part. What do you think? Do you think that it's possible to have a good amount of volume without a big downline? Let me know if you have experience in this.
Compensation plan training. I'll do one of those later, but that's how it's paid out. This process is repeated over and over until there's not enough to be paid out. So in this example, you'll see that we can subtract 100, my numbers are off, 100 from the weak leg on the left, 200 from the right, and then we just keep going and going and going until we can't get any further. And when that happens, whatever's left is over, moves on to the next time. Okay, So how you can find out your team volume in your coach office. If you guys log into Team Beachbody, if you go to your coach office, and if you guys go to,
So I'm not sure if you can see this clearly, but in this example, the right leg has 555 PV points and the left leg has 0. Even though this made up coach has a good amount of volume on one leg, because they don't have any volume on the other, they're not going to cycle and they're not going to get any bonuses.
Volume on your dashboard, you can see we've highlighted it right here on the top, my team volume from previous bonus weeks. And then at the bottom here, team volume from current bonus week. And you click on these, you can see where you are at. Now, if you also click here, if you go to the top one, my team volume, you can see, going back to this category, you can see which one has the least amount of volume in it. And like I said, we don't care which side it's on, but between all of those, if you earn in a 5 consecutive week time period, and we don't care which 5 weeks it is, if there is 1,000 points, then you earn this spot for team builder. We need at least 1,000 team volume between the 5 weeks anytime during 2019, then you've earned the, and you can check that box for team builder.
So that's a whole ass other requirement that you have to meet too. I feel like this so much to keep track of. So team builder, he's going to go through it. You can see the numbers. It's 1,000, 2,500, 5,000, 5,000. And please note that it has to be over 5 consecutive weeks. So can you imagine if you get to the 4 weeks and you're at the correct amount of volume, and then in the last week you barely miss it, like by like 50 points, say like one purchase, and then you have to start over again. I could imagine there'd be like a mad dash to meet the volume requirement by a certain time period. And I could just imagine how heartbreaking it would be. Say you're trying to get to Premier Leader and you have all the requirements, and then say it's your last chance to hit because you're having trouble hitting the 5,000 in week leg volume over 5 consecutive weeks. It's your last chance, and then you get like 49.50 and you barely miss it, but then you aren't a premier coach. You're not a premier coach because you barely missed the last requirement. So this is so much. Like there's a rank requirement, even though remember at the beginning of the last video, he said it doesn't matter what your rank is, anyone can be in the road to elite. There's a rank requirement, there's a leadership point requirements. Your new PS coaches your new PS coaches have to hit a certain rank for the first time in that year. And let me correct myself, the coaches do not need to be newly enrolled coaches, but they're new because they have to hit these ranks for the first time in 2022. And then you have a whole ass other requirement, which is week leg volume requirement. If you're trying to get to team builder, and so which means you're a diamond or above, is it realistic for a diamond to get 1,000 in week leg volume over 5 weeks? I feel like that's high because I feel like diamond is not going to have a huge downline. What do you think? If you've been a diamond before, was 1,000 PV in over 5 weeks, is that actually realistic? Let me know.
You'll see the 4 at the bottom. Week leg volume total accumulated over any 5 consecutive week period in 2019. For team leader, we're going to go through your week leg volume and we're going to say, okay, between any 5 consecutive weeks, did that add up to 2,500 points? If so, you've achieved you can check the box for team leader. For premier, we're saying 5,000 volumes between any 5 consecutive weeks. Now, once again, I'll reiterate this. We don't necessarily care if it swaps. If for some reason your left leg is weak one week and the next week it's your right leg, we don't care. But if we need at least between any of the 5 weeks, we can add up to 5,000 in the less volume or weak leg volume. And it adds to 5,000, you've earned check the box for premier, and same for elite, 5,000.
What's the deadline every year? Does anyone know? So when does an elite leader have to meet all of these very complicated requirements? Because it's probably by a certain time. I'm just guessing. It's probably by a certain time. So then you can be recognized as these categories at Summit, which is coming up soon. What do you think?
points in week leg volume. So let's quickly go over this. We're at the end of our training. This is what it takes to earn the different.
So I don't want to keep watching this because he's just going to repeat what we've already talked about. So what do you think about this? What's your opinion? Do you think it's needlessly complicated as well? Do you think that the rank requirement for your PS coaches could encourage a really like high pressure environment? Because if you're trying to get to elite, you can't just build one new diamond in a year. You have to build 2 new diamonds. And I think that could translate into the new diamond getting a lot of pressure to work longer hours. Maybe their set business hours might not be respected by their upline because they know that for their upline to get this fancy recognition, they have to hit their rank requirement or else it's not going to happen for the upline. What do you think? So that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear what you think about the different requirements, what you think about the leadership points and how realistic you think those leadership points are, and also weak leg volume requirements. In my opinion, I don't think those numbers are realistic for the lower ranks. But if you've been in Beachbody and you've tried to climb the Road to Elite ladder, I would love to hear your experiences down below. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.